So you guys might have heard in recent news, very sad to see that unfortunately the Infiniti Q50 has been officially discontinued. Very tough times, you guys may or may not know. I've actually been a Nissan Infiniti enthusiast for a number of years, well before doing anything as far as YouTube or automotive content, anything like that. My automotive journey actually started with a 2015 Infiniti Q50, right around the time when the body style first came out. It was a great car. I really liked the modern, aggressive styling. I've always liked typical Infiniti stuff. I mean, your G35s, your G37s. I like VQs. I know whether you love them or hate them, that's up to you, but they've been proven to be quite reliable. They make a lot of power. Many aftermarket options out there, many of which carried over from, again, the G37 and 370Z. So, seeing the evolution from the G to the Q was very exciting. It was a good car. Basically just, a full bolt-on NA car. It was a good daily driver, nothing crazy. Always been a fan of just the idea of just affordable, kind of basic sort of entry-level luxury, like kind of performance-oriented sedans. This is a great option for somebody who maybe wants to save a little bit of cash, maybe if that BMW or that Audi is just a little bit out of reach. I think that it's such a fantastic option to introduce something that's going to get that person at the right price point, and still, of course, have some options with aftermarket tuning and upgrades and all that good stuff. So again, for me, this is sad news, just, coming from the G37, the Q50, all that kind of stuff. And I think there's just a number of reasons why Infiniti ultimately has failed as a brand. Now, it's definitely no secret, Infiniti was definitely far behind a lot of the competitors. I really think there was a lot of areas where they really just let everybody down. Specifically, looking at powertrain, obviously, I do think there was a lot of drawbacks there for many, many years. Just Infiniti continuing to use basically like that outdated 7-speed transmission. Really, the transmission, I feel like, is what kind of held Infiniti back, from being able to really compete with, the Audis, the BMWs, the Mercedes. Obviously, the VR Trans was a bit better than the older VQ Trans, but again, there's still a lot of limitations with that 7-speed. They never had dedicated transmission software, and always just felt like when you're looking at the DSGs, DCTs, the ZF8s, and they just really could not keep up. That was really a big limiting factor, again, specifically with the powertrain. Again, a lot of guys, they love the VQs, myself included. VQs have proven to be very reliable. They can handle a lot of power. If you're looking at like aftermarket forced induction applications, whether it be superchargers, twin turbo kits, single turbo kits. I mean, these VQs are typically good for, 600 wheel horsepower with the right setup, the right tune, all of the appropriate supporting mods. So I've always liked the VHRs. I really think that, there's a lot that people can accomplish with that platform, but again, what good is an engine if you don't have the transmission to really support the whole package? I was never personally a fan of the VR30s. I was interested when they first came out, having come from the early Q50. Mine was a 2015 model, if you guys didn't know. And coming from the VQ, I was really excited. I love the idea of the twin turbo. I thought there was going to be, huge potential, and really was going to be like a fantastic platform just to ease into. But what really held me back from making that jump was, again, the limitations, just kind of learning about the differences in the gearboxes. And obviously for me, I started to really kind of get into more of the European cars, as you guys see where I'm at today with the RS3. But the VRs, man, I've seen them fail stock. I've seen them fail at 500 horsepower, 600 horsepower. So we can recognize for sure, I mean, the VRs, they definitely can make some impressive power. I'm not to take anything away from them, but we just have to recognize, I mean, there's a pretty consistent track record of inconsistencies. I've seen a lot of VR30 failures. I mean, heck, I've quoted engine replacements for them, having been an advisor in the past. And yeah, I mean, I would see these things get towed in all the time. I mean, a lot of times they might only be running stock turbo setups and not really necessarily pushing that much power. I've seen them fail stock. So, I'm not saying it's the worst engine in the world. Please do not misunderstand. At heart, I am an Infiniti Nissan enthusiast. So, I mean, I want nothing but seeing success and growth and better developments for the brand. But I really just feel like the VR just did not live up to the expectations. So outside of the powertrain stuff, I mean, I really feel like another area was with the technology. I mean, I always found that like the dual screen setup, I mean, it always felt very archaic, never felt up to date. It was a very laggy screen. Again, looking at your competitors, you know, the European market, if you decide to look at maybe an Audi or BMW. So for somebody that's out there shopping for that kind of maybe sort of entry mid-level like performance sedan, you're looking at your Audis, your BMWs, your Infinitis, and it's just like, again, the powertrain is superior. The technology, the craftsmanship, the refinement, the technology is just going to be better with the European cars. So that's just another area where I feel like Infiniti really just let the whole team down. So definitely a very sad day for the Q community. Definitely sad news. I hate to see stuff like this happen, but when your sales are down, your product is underperforming, when the competition is just too strong, they just have to get back to the drawing board and figure out a new game plan. And obviously it looks like they want to focus on selling SUVs, so I guess that's just what they're going to have to do. The other thing I'll mention as well with Q50s is I do feel like there was a lack of equipment that really held them back, you know, as far as looking at like, you know, the Silver Sport versus like the Red Sport. You know, I like the fact that, you know, mechanically there wasn't that much of a difference really. I mean, pretty much most people just recognize that, you know what, we can save a little bit of money, go with like the regular Sport as opposed to the Red Sport, and just kind of still using proper aftermarket parts and tuning and stuff, you know, meet or exceed what the Red Sport could do. But I think that for the guy that did want to front the cash to buy that better model to be obviously your top trim level, I do think that there were important things that were missing in the Red Sport. For example, I really think that it was a huge disappointment not getting a limited slip differential from factory with the Red Sport. Another example being like exhaust, you know, like I didn't see anything as far as if you buy the Red Sport, you know, maybe it comes with like a valved exhaust or something like that, right? For example, you have an Audi, an A series, you know, you're just gonna have standard exhaust, whereas if you get like an S or like an RS Audi, you're gonna get a more high performance, like a valved exhaust. So there's just like different things. I felt like they didn't add enough value into the branding of that higher trim to really set itself apart. So that's kind of my discussion for today, guys. Again, former G37 Q50 owner here. No hate on the brand, nothing but love and appreciation for all the VQ VR guys out there. Maybe the discontinuation of the Q will start to get more guys, you know, like myself many years ago, kind of starting to pursue other options, you know, with your Audis, your BMWs and whatnot. So, yep, that's it for this one, guys. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts about the loss of the Q50. I'll see you guys in the next one.